So our presentation today, our program is a Q&A session with Mark Beats. For about 10 years, I think you're coming up on your 10th anniversary at fun.com, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, he's been a key player in the marketing and branding for this amazing local company, fun.com. If you don't know about fun.com, you'll find out a little bit more about it today. It started out as HalloweenCostumes.com. Mark has extensive experience with digital marketing and e-commerce. He and I met, I think, around 2006 when he was running his own internet marketing business. So you're going to find this a fascinating Q&A session, and it's an opportunity to be interactive. Mark is very open to you talking about your business and bringing that forward, and he'll give you feedback on how your marketing and branding looks from the outside. So I'll turn it over to Mark. Welcome.
Great. Thank you so much, Yvonne. Yeah, so I didn't notice, but my so-called professional picture has a hander on my shoulder.
It does.
I think I need to get into one of your professional development classes, Yvonne.
I grabbed it from your LinkedIn. It was my fault.
No, I know that's my LinkedIn picture. That's horrible. Well, yeah, thanks so much. Yvonne's been a staple in the community for so long, and I really look up to her. Since I was, just out of school, meeting Yvonne and seeing the business that she built, and just how nice of a person she is. It's been really awesome. Kind of getting back in touch with you. So thank you. Yeah, like Yvonne said, my name is Mark Beats. I've been CMO at fun.com, or been in leading marketing at fun.com for about 10 years. Prior to that, as Yvonne mentioned, I had a small internet marketing company here in Mankato that I started in school. And we, at our biggest point, we were serving up to about 50 clients or so, doing website design development, paid search marketing, email marketing, database marketing, that type of thing. So kind of like a small stack for all their digital marketing needs. And then after that, I went and led digital channels at Rasmussen College. They are a college with I started when we had about 11 campuses. They grew to about 25 campuses over a few years, and then had an online division that went from a few thousand to about 15,000 when I had left. And then from there, I went down to fun.com, where I'm currently at, and I started there. We were running about 200 different small websites, all very niche. So like buy Star Wars costumes.com, Wizard of Oz costumes.com, and just a ton of different domain names we were running. And so I came in, we had about 20 employees or so. We were doing about, I think we did about 17 million sales that year. And just this past year, in 2019, we hit a milestone. We did a little over 100 million in revenue. And so my team, I oversee marketing and creative. There's about 46 folks right now that report up through those departments. And my job is really to lead marketing and creative strategy. And so I kind of split as a chief marketing officer and then chief revenue officer, I guess. So if we're not bringing in dollars and orders, then that's on me. So I really enjoy what I'm doing. We're really heavy into all the foundational internet marketing type of things. So search marketing is still our bread and butter, and we do a lot within social. We're actually, over the past few years, have gotten into a lot more traditional marketing, and I can talk about that a little bit. Due to a lot of inbox fatigue, we flipped a lot of our budget over into like physical direct mail, that type of thing. And about 3 years ago, we became the biggest online costume company in the world. So we actually design, manufacture, and go direct to consumer with most of our most of our revenue comes from that, but it's about 40% of our SKUs, and then the rest we buy wholesale and then sell through our website and on Amazon as well. So I guess lately with this, you know, with COVID and this pandemic, we've been having to get really creative about how we market. Fortunately, we still have most of our sales year over year are still there, which is great because the demand from a consumer standpoint is down about 30%, but we're comping pretty flat year over year. And part of that is we've diversified quite a bit internationally. So there's other countries that are doing a little bit better as far as COVID cases go, and so we're seeing those sales still there. And then we're just the way we're marketing, especially via social media, is really about having fun at home. And some of the campaigns that we've done there have been pretty successful, and so we're hoping to carry that momentum into Halloween so that we can sort of change the narrative about Halloween being canceled to Halloween just being celebrated differently. And so we're kind of calling all of our media contacts. We just got an article put up in TMZ about this to just try to be a counterpoint to all the doom and gloom media that's coming out about it. So I guess what I wanted to do today really, and I did this probably a couple of years ago and get some good feedback, is really talk about the businesses and organizations that you all are involved with, and hopefully maybe I could give some pointers to you guys about some areas that I see or some opportunities that I see. I do quite a bit of consulting too, so I'm on the board of a social media marketing company out of Utah called Iconify. I also am part of the board and consulting for a med tech company out of Burnsville, Minnesota. And so I love working in all different kinds of categories. So please, go ahead and raise your hand if you want to discuss your company. And we actually had a volunteer early on in the meeting offer up his company to talk about. So I guess first, the owner of Infusion Foods, would you want to give a quick intro to what you do at your company, what your company does, and maybe some challenges that you're facing right now?
So where do I begin? There's always a challenge, there's always an opportunity. Just a brief background. So Infusion Foods is based in Pine Island, Minnesota. That's it for those of you familiar with the region. It's about 20 minutes north of Rochester. And our business model basically is threefold. You can kind of describe us as an early stage cloud kitchen. So unlike a typical restaurant where you'd go, you'd sit and whatnot, we are looking to build basically meal delivery service. And our scope of service right now is 16 communities throughout southeastern Minnesota, with plans potentially to expand in the Mankato area. We're actually seriously contemplating that, and I think the session lends well to some feedback and whatnot related to those things. So basically, it's evolving to becoming an app-based business. You order your meal through an app or online, and it's cooked fresh and delivered to your doorstep for dinner. That's our primary model. That's supported by, doing pop-ups at markets like farmers markets and, county fairs, which this year hasn't been the greatest in terms of getting the county fairs and whatnot, obviously because of COVID. But the markets have been strong for us. And we primarily do that because it helps us understand, get feedback on how the customer is, relating to the product. And our third sphere, which is growing, but we haven't pushed so much as of yet, is going into the retail world of local co-ops and, food boutique type of outfits and whatnot. So interestingly enough, since most of us here are in the Mankato region, we will be at the St. Peter Co-op. We have a line of beverages and things like that that are going to be available at the St. Peter's Co-op in the next month or so. So that's our business. And I'm really excited to dialogue with Mark and all of you on it because I know this is one of the areas that we need to devote a lot more attention to in the digital space, in the social media space. And so there's a million things that are going through my head and on my to-do list. But you know, operationally, sometimes as you're building a company, you're just so tied up, and it doesn't necessarily always get the priority it deserves. So go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, great. This is really cool. I'm getting hungry just looking at your site. Can everybody see the website pulled up here?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. So what, I guess one quick question for you is what makes Infusion different than all the other food delivery services out there?
Sure. So, I mean, hopefully the name conveys infusion. It's Indian fusion. And if you go to the about, you kind of read our story and what was the driving force behind it. In fact, we are in the process of looking at updating the website and making it a bit more, you know, glamorous and whatnot. But we do share our story there. And I guess I would basically qualify it as the following premise. And it was interesting to hear your background, Mark, at the beginning, part Korean, part German. And I also have an international background from that perspective. So when it comes to food, food is the thing that, you know, links us to our heritage. But food is also the thing that evolves with the locality and the space in which you live. And so infusion represents an Indian fusion. It's not traditional. It's made for the American palate. You know, it's Minnesota nice, as we always say to our customers. And it, you know, brings in global culinary experiences with an Indian base.
That's great. So that's fantastic. You mentioned fairs. Was that your main method of customer acquisition, or how have you acquired customers, and how do you kind of see you acquiring customers in the future?
Great question. So it was by chance. So if you're somewhat familiar with the ethnic food scene and especially Indian food, we started off as a paneer company. Paneer is a type of cheese, and we supplied that to local.
Paneer.
Well, you know, we figured out very quickly that yes, there is demand for this product, but you just can't rely on the fact that your product is on a shelf and people are going to buy it over and over and over again. And so what happened was we'd go and do these demos and we do these really cool dishes with the paneer. And people started asking us, well, I like this food. And so, okay, then we looked at ourselves and said, okay, well, how do you bring this food out to the mainstream? So, you know, the farmers market approached us and said, we've been hearing really cool things about you. Would you mind, you know, doing weekly gigs at the market? And so I still remember our first day. And in fact, I'm actually going to be talking about this next week at Collider, which is an accelerator in Rochester, about, you know, getting feedback from your customers and whatnot. I still remember the first day we set up our stall and nobody came. Not until we put a sample out. And people flocked for samples. It was a Costco model. And then every week we'd roll out different samples. You know, customers would try this is good, and they would order. So the markets, the pop-ups have been to us the most effective way of getting the product in customers' hands. Mm-hmm. And so we go back and forth again, and maybe this is one of the reasons why we haven't pushed the retail front so much, is because the product, the company is not at the stage where it's a household name, you know, that you can just put it on a retail shelf. We're still educating, we're still, you know, learning what the customer wants, you know, and obtaining that useful feedback. So yeah, so from a customer acquisition perspective, we do well at markets and county fairs and pop-ups. Customers try the food. We're able to get them on our emailing list where they see the menu of the week and whatnot. And, you know, they're not obligated to go week to week, but, you know, we have that useful customer data, you know, from the viewpoint of, you know, potential sales promotions, from the viewpoint of creative marketing and all that good stuff. We need to do more with it, but that's been key.
You know, Chandu, I want to bring up sampling as, yes, you know, and how to sort of bring that effective method into the digital space. And I think on your landing page for the meals delivered, this is great. You have the email sign up, how to get started right there. One sort of common practice that's been known over and over again, pretty much any category that you're in, is like having a little pop up right when you enter the website with some sort of offer. So offering up, like, depending on what your cash flow needs are and how much you can spend to acquire a customer, if you can break even or even take a little bit of a loss on that first order, knowing that the lifetime value is going to be, pay off over time, you know, getting someone their first meal for free or their first couple meals for free if they, sign up, I think will probably end up boosting your conversion rates pretty nicely. And so, when we talk about trying to collect someone's data to be able to advertise to them in the future, I think what you're seeing in the industry is more of a democratization of that, where companies or consumers are demanding a little bit more for their data. So, giving them something of value. If you're a company that does consulting services, maybe it's an audit. If you're a company that sells products, maybe it's a sample of the product, or maybe it's a discount on that product. But just, offering something to get someone started, because you as a brand are very confident that once they try it, they'll keep coming back. And if that's honed in enough, I think that can be a really great method to acquire some new customers. And what's great about all those email addresses too is not even if everyone buys, but if they're giving you permission to now market to them, this is a great way to start developing a digital footprint of your core customer base. And so as you sort of develop a database of customers, using that and sort of, uploading that data both to Google and Facebook, not only will you start following those folks around with some ads, and they can turn them off if they want to, if this ad's not relevant to them, they have the option to do so, but you can start to create lookalike audiences based on those customers. And so with the amount of AI computing power that both Google and Facebook and Instagram and all those folks have, they're going to do a good job of finding people that look kind of like the folks that have already bought from you guys. So that would be something that I would implement right away, is just that pop-up, especially on mobile, making it super easy for someone to click, enter their email so that their coupon gets activated. And now, even if they don't buy right away, you at least have the opportunity to remind them a little bit later on that they visited, and then show them some awesome food. I'm going to go back to SEO because that's where I started. That's the organic search results in Google, and it's by far the most profitable channel from a digital marketing standpoint. And what the great thing about it is it also creates brand authority, kind of implicitly. So consumers that see companies that show up high in their searches, outside of the ads, and even within the ads, it creates some authority, because it's, not everybody knows, and I would say a small percentage of people know how a site ranks, but they just know that, pretty authoritative brands. Google does a good job, and they built the brand around just displaying great results for whatever the search query is. And
so Mark, I have a question for you. I'm glad you brought that up, and in fact, that's one we have not done that yet. SEO, it's been on our list. We go back and forth on it, and I'm kind of a champion for it. My other two partners have been a bit cautious about it, so I'm glad to hear your views on it.
Is there a negative perception of SEO with your partners, or is it just?
I wouldn't say negative perception. I'm just I think their concern is, will it lead to conversions?
Yeah.
You can post the ad, people will look at it, but how do you determine? I mean, how do you know it's going to be successful? I mean, you're going to put the money out, and you're not sure. It's somewhat of a gamble, right? Perhaps is good from a brand awareness perspective, but how I mean, so I mean, do you need to tie a coupon to it? Do you need to tie some sort of sales promotion to it as a
Yeah.
point?
So I guess, a couple of things. So SEO is sort of the organic stuff that's not, you don't pay for an ad. It's just showing up. And so what you do with your page titles, like if you go to your homepage, going to Google, and there's a tool called Google Keyword Planner, and that'll give you the keywords that people are typing to find your business. And then it'll also give you a competition level and search volume. So, maybe starting out, you guys do a local focus within your SEO and say, Indian fusion or Indian foods, meals delivered to your door. You know, just getting some keywords into your page titles and into your copy, and providing that, making sure that the copy and the content on your site's valuable and relevant to that keyword, um, is going to be a good start, and that can come without spending, if you do it yourself, or you can hire someone to kind of structure all your page titles. But it's with probably and you're a professor. I would say that if you spent a few days reading about it, you could get the foundation of just some free things you can do to try to start ranking locally here in Minnesota, for your services. So, and especially since you have a niche, you're doing Indian food, and there isn't a million Indian food meal delivery companies out there, especially in Minnesota. So I think you could probably have a good chance. Your category is probably not ultra competitive at this point, where you have a good chance at ranking. Now, and then what you were talking about in terms of paying ads, that's something where, it's, to me, it's great, because if you're going in, you're trying to buy a TV commercial, or you're doing a big ad in a magazine or something like that. That's a lot of upfront cost, but you can start with as little as a few bucks. And actually, if you're a small business, Google's going to give you $200 in free ad credits just to start out with. Once you sign up for an AdWords account, you'll get a little postcard in the mail. Usually it's like 100 or $200 or something to get you started. So that's a great way to test those different keywords. And it's a great way to test your services. And then also, I would say, since you are doing most of your marketing locally, having a really good Google Maps listing, and making sure that people are reviewing you. So asking your current customers to review you on Google, review you on Yelp, review you on Trustpilot, making those asks and making sure that your customers are giving you that feedback, not only privately but publicly, is a great way to start building that brand as well. And then there's promotions you can do as far as like referrals too. That's a great way to, word of mouth is still the best form of marketing out there. And so you can sort of push that and offer up, I forgot the name of the company, but there's a company there. I think they cost like $25 a month for small businesses, but they'll actually provide like a review platform and refer a friend type of platform for your business, so that you can start marketing to your current customers about how they can earn more free meals by referring other customers in. So I guess those are the types of things I would do if you're sort of, just starting your digital marketing journey, is do that. Another thing that we're doing quite a bit here at Fun, and it's expanding every year. It used to be about 10% of someone's job, and now we got someone full-time doing this, just reaching out to influencers. So influencers can be celebrities, and they can be, pop stars and that type of thing. And a lot of times they'll charge you, $10,000 to post something on Instagram. But there's micro influencers, and actually there's a lot of proof coming out now that they're a lot more powerful. So once you get to know like who your customer is, in terms of if there's any trends in their own demographics or psychographics, seeing who they follow on Instagram, seeing who has a lot of Facebook friends within your local area, someone who also is, someone that you can partner with that is also an authority in food or healthy eating, healthy living. That would be a good way to, get them to become a brand ambassador. Maybe just provide their meals for free, and then they can start posting for you, so that, the people that are following them and that are in their sphere get interested in your brand. So yeah, that's, I guess, any questions?
No, great food and great food for thought. I have a question for you. How do you perhaps incentivize your customers to write that review on a digital platform?
Yeah, so this is but there's ethical lines that need to be
Right.
addressed, because you shouldn't you shouldn't, and like on Amazon you can get kicked off the platform for doing it, and on Google it's just not a good way to do it. But like, you can't pay someone for a good review, but you can pay someone to leave an unbiased review. So within the copy in which you're reaching out, please let us know what you think. Phrases like that, where it's not saying please leave us 5 stars and we'll give you a meal. That's not a good way to do it. But just asking for that unbiased review, and then saying, if they do review, that you maybe give them 10% off or 20% off their next order or something like that. It's a good way to do it.
Yeah, cool. Mark, I should bring you to class one of these days.
I'd be happy to. Does someone else want to share their business? Looks like Kate Hansen has their hand raised. Do you have a question, or do you want to talk about your company? It's like you're still on mute there.
Kate, you could put your website address in chat for me.
Okay, sorry. I had my screen set up a different way than I normally do, so I couldn't find unmute. I own cabin number 4. It's I design graphic tees for outdoor adventurers. So I'm very outdoorsy based, hiking, well, I don't have any camping yet, but paddling, biking, that kind of stuff. And so I thought it relates well to your Halloween costumes, because it's also apparel and that kind of thing. So I would love for you to take a look and see.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. You got your pop-up that happened right there for 20% off your first order. That's, again, super.
I get gold star.
Yeah, that's definitely a gold star. I'm a big camping outdoor person myself, so I'm familiar with a lot of these brands. And actually, one of my friends owns Qualitree. I don't know if you've heard of them before. They have like hiking pants and different things like that. Help his business out a little bit, but I really like these lifestyle type brands. Do you want to just talk a little bit about why you exist, and
Sure.
why customers would want to buy your stuff over another?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell a little bit about my story. So when I turned 40, my friend and I went to the UP of Michigan. I went to the Porcupine Mountains for the first time, and we hiked into this remote cabin and spent 3 days there. Neither one of us knew anything about what we were doing, really. I mean, we'd gone camping together before and things like that, but we always had our husbands with, and we were always at drive-in sites and things like that. So this is our first, like, put everything you need in your backpack and walk 4 miles to a cabin, and then you're there for 3 days. And so as we were planning this, of course, we thought we need t-shirts. And then we were looking out online, and we just couldn't find anything that was really like us. And so I designed something for us. And then it kind of sparked this little idea of like, hey, I could do this. This could be something I could do. And so I started with the first 4 designs, which were take a hike, go jump in a lake, or first 3 designs, sorry, and get lost. And that was last fall. And so then I just tried to sell them on I have a graphic design website. So I did a pre-order, and I sold probably, I don't know, 80 shirts or something like that. And then I kind of let it rest over the winter while I built this website and kind of figured out what I was going to do with this thing. And so yeah, now I have more design. I'm building slowly, and that's intentional because I'm not taking out loans. I'm not doing anything like, I'm building it as I have the money to do so. So it's kind of a slow back and forth. but it's been doing really well. I just did a pop-up sale at the Circle Inn in Lower North, and that came out of a 1 million cups presentation that I did. And so that pop-up sale did really well, and we're hoping to do that again next month. But yeah, why people buy from me over others, I donate 10% back to environmental nonprofit organizations. I am super particular about the print quality and the softness of the teas. Every one of my teas, you're gonna feel it, and like it isn't your, you know, beefy tea from Hanes. It is like super soft, and the screen printing is super light, so you barely even feel on the shirt, and that's important to me too, because I don't want it to feel heavy and thick and weird.
That's great. Where do you get your blanks from? Are they next level blanks? Are they?
They are Bella and Canvas, which
Okay.
is an environmentally friendly company as well, so that's important to me.
Great.
But yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. So I think the website looks really, really great. I like that you have, especially for brands like this, like lifestyle shots are going to be super important for you. I would recommend, what platform are you using for your website?
WordPress.
WordPress, awesome. So there are WordPress plugins where you can bring in UGC, so user-generated content. And so, you know, getting people to tag you on their Insta and then just pulling those pictures right in is going to be a good thing.
I had that on there, and it slowed down my site so much that I was like, this isn't even worth it, because I wasn't getting enough anyway.
Yeah, okay. So I guess first off, that's a super good point. Site speed is one of the most important things, both from a conversion rate standpoint and from a like ranking on Google standpoint, is that your site's got to be quick. You know, each second you add to your site, Amazon did a study a long time ago. It's like you lose 17% off your conversion rate right off the bat for each second that's loaded on. So that's really important. So maybe you're just going to hand curate for now on those lifestyle images, maybe, and then put those on your site. So that's awesome. Did you do some keyword research? It looks like outdoor adventure shirts. It seems like a keyword that people are typing in. So you
I use
like
Yoast. I use Yoast SEO in the background. So I have done on most of the pages. There's SEO in place.
Awesome. This is another brand. I have that same kayak too.
That's my friend Sarah. She's awesome.
So I guess influencers would be another one that I would recommend for you, just really going hard into. And I think Minnesota in itself is a very outdoorsy type of state. And so finding some local, you know, outdoorsy photography people, hiking type people, reaching out to them, giving them some free stuff and having them tag you is going to be a great way to, I think, you know, get your brand out there a little bit more. And, you know, there's one thing that we're testing at Fund too is like, you know, some people, you know, most of the folks that we interact with will just kind of post for free product. And that's people of up to like, you know, a couple 100,000 followers that, you know, you can send them a box of costumes and they'll wear it and post and that type of thing. Someone, you know, others will want cash up front too. But another one we're doing is if you sign up for an affiliate platform, there are different platforms out there, and I don't know the names right now, but if you reach out afterwards, I can get them to you. You can basically set up influencers in a campaign, and so that they'll start making money off of everybody that they refer to your site that ends up buying. So you know, you can set up a commission structure where they're getting like 10% of all the orders, stuff like that. I would say that that's a good way to build your brand out there. I think your shirts are perfect for Etsy. I don't know if you sold on Etsy.
I had an Etsy page, and yeah, I had it for some of my graphic design stuff. I haven't tried it for shirts yet.
I'd recommend that. One great thing about Etsy too is if you do some marketing to your Etsy and you get a few sales on your account, it'll start showing up, you know, a little bit higher up on the platform. And they do, you know what product listing ads are on Google. So just Google here So all these ads right here on the side,
Mhm.
Etsy's that they're paying for that first one, and that shop on Etsy is not paying for that. It's Etsy paying for it.
Okay.
So just inherently, if you get some sales going on the platform, you're going to get these PLA ads for free. And so instead of you paying for Google, they'll pay it for you as well.
Okay.
So that's one that I would do. Another thing, I guess, are you doing any like Facebook ads, that type of thing yet?
I have one running right now. I just started it yesterday to kind of capitalize off of the local um, buzz that I got with the pop-up shop. And I've done a couple before, and they had moderate success. I get more traffic and a few extra purchases and things like that. But I'd love tips on that too.
Sure. So how are you doing your targeting in the platform?
I do the keywords, so I put in like all the kinds of things that my target market would be looking for: hiking, adventure, outdoors, woods. I put in all those words, and then I shoot for mostly women. And then age is usually between 28 and 55. So kind of that, not the real young, but not the real old either. So kind of right in the middle.
Yep.
And geographic, lately I've been sticking with Midwest. So Minnesota, and then kind of just right around here. I do well in Michigan.
Awesome.
So I've been hopping over there some.
That's great. I think I think you got the approach down there in terms of like the keywords you're getting into. It seems like this is a very Midwestern aesthetic. Your designs are. So I would definitely stick in the area. What I would do too is probably just target some competitors. If there are any bigger brands that sort of have the same type of product, or if there are even, brands that don't, like we target. So for example, a lot of our demographic and the ones that, typically spend the most money is high income moms, usually age 35 to 54. They have a bachelor's degree, household income is a little bit higher too. And so some of the brands that they're buying is like, Crate and Barrel Kids. They have nothing to do with costumes. It's not a competitor, but it's just a brand that we know that our customers are also interested in. And so if, I would say that, would people that are buying these t-shirts, do they also buy Hydro Flask water bottles? And can you target people like in Minnesota that buy Hydro Flask?
That's funny. I just gave away a Hydro Flask the other day, or a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so I think that's like a perfect compliment. People that are into REI, I'm guessing, would be into your stuff. People that are into cycling, like bike packing type stuff might be. So just kind of really thinking about your customer, maybe even interviewing some of your really good customers and asking them, what else are they purchasing, and then kind of reaching out that way. I think is a good way to get some higher potential customers seeing your ads.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
And then
yeah. Mark, Jeremy has a question for you.
Yeah, please. Sorry, I didn't see the hand there.
That's all right. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Thank you. Good morning. I say, Mark, my name's Jeremy. I own a wine cafe in Waseca, Minnesota. And you had mentioned earlier when we were discussing infusion about inbox fatigue and going more with direct mail. Can you elaborate a little bit on the efficacy of direct mail, possibly even with a bounce back coupon or an offer on that direct mail versus online presence?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was maybe 4 years ago. We were strictly digital up until that point. And I was I'm a part of this group called the CMO Club, and I'm the smallest brand represented in the group. There's like Target and other like really big brands that are out there. And someone had brought up that, they were talking with their email service provider and figuring out what subject lines to put in to increase open rates, and they threw out a stat about how a lot of people are receiving like 70 to 120 marketing emails per day in their inbox, right? And so there's inbox fatigue from a standpoint that there's just people are just receiving way too much. And, everybody gets junk mail, but you actually, now are getting more of a chance of someone seeing your message if you land in their, actual physical mailbox. So when we started this program, we used it both to get existing customers to come back, and we also used it, we can, buy other brands lists. So if you like go with a company called like Info Group, for example, they have all different types of companies that are selling their own lists, and so that you can mail their customers too. I would say for a local company like yours, just going to the post office, you can get something in the mail, they'll just work with you and put a postcard in there. So doing an offer definitely helps. So just looking, just taking a look at your margins, you could be going after a play. If you need to be profitable right away, then, it should be a smaller offer, obviously, because, you're trying to, not break even on that first order. But if you have a good repeat rate, and if it's more about awareness, putting a stronger offer in there, getting them into your wine cafe, and then on the hopes that they come back would be another way to do it. So I would recommend it. If you can afford to do it, I would definitely give it a shot. And again, just getting a focus on to the types of neighborhoods and the folks that your current customers are coming from, and targeting those is going to be a really good thing to do.
Mark, if you want to take a look at his website, it's in, I put it in chat.
Yeah, please.
triowasika.com. I popped it in chat for you too.
How do I get my chat going again? I can't see chat anymore.
It's trio, TRIO, wasika.com.
Awesome. This is great. I can tell it's optimized for mobile, I think. That's really important. So just any website, like it's always mobile first. Google's indexing mobile first. So making sure that it looks good on an iPhone and an Android, and it functions correctly is super, super important. So yeah, I guess a couple of things I would mention. How much time are you spending in your Google Maps listing and cultivating that?
Probably not as much as I should.
Okay, so for any restaurant, Google has really taken over. It used to be Yelp, and Yelp is still important, but really the Google local listings are going to be the best way, because if someone's in your general vicinity, and the more powerful your listing is, and they're just, if it's more like a tourist type thing, if someone's just in Waseca visiting, I don't know how much your customer base is like locals versus people that are passing through, but if someone's just searching the term restaurant, which is one of the hardest terms to rank for, but now that Google does geofencing, you have a much better chance of just showing up for anybody searching for a restaurant. So making sure that you're asking your customers to leave you a review on Google is super important, because the more reviews you're going to have, the more powerful your listing becomes. And then also getting local citations. So bugging the Waseca Tribune, or I don't know what the newspaper is there, but getting them to write something about you, mentioning you. Getting that Chamber of Commerce listing is another way to get a local citation. Just any type of local directory type website is going to be important to get that, sending more signals to Google that you're a legitimate, good business that serves its customers in a good way. So I would definitely put a ton of focus into Google Local, and try your best to get 50, 100, couple hundred reviews on your restaurant there for sure.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Seems like a good point to bring up too, that you sit on a council, an advertising council for Google. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah. Yep.
What is that? the council that you sit on?
Yeah, so basically, they were sort of the first ones to learn about Google's new advertising products that come out, and then we get to kind of test and give feedback on those products. So before everything happened, I'd go to Chicago a couple of times a year. They'd present, and then we'd come back and test the products, and then give feedback. So.
Well, there's
Yeah.
time for one more if somebody else has a question for Mark
Yeah,
or
please.
wants to have a quick look at their site. I find it fascinating. I've made all sorts of notes to think about for the university and for my business. Others have questions or
Looks like
want
Willis
him to have a
does.
quick look?
I saw Willis pop up.
Willis, all right. Go ahead, Willis. You can unmute.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me now?
You are
Okay.
live.
How's it going, man?
Cool. It is going. Good to see you, Mark.
Yeah, you too.
So you know a little bit about what we do, but I'd be
Yes.
curious for some insights. I can explain a little bit further too.
Please.
I run Triple Falls Productions with a business partner of mine out of Mankato. We do entertainment and digital media. We entertain, promote, and organize, and help creatives record and perform and share their work. So our platform right now is a web-based thing, and we put a lot of time into creating content for it as sort of a top of funnel awareness generator. And we'd like to at some point develop some more products and services that align with our values. But right now it's focused on kind of just generating attention and providing a valuable resource to the communities that we engage in, and the artists that are performing around. So we have website, Facebook, all the social medias where.
What's your domain name, Willis? I know you guys on Facebook, but what's your
triplefallsproductions.com. And I'm thinking about going to triplefalls.org, which I'd be curious to know if you think that'd be a good move. But right now
I do think that would be a good move. Between .org and .com and that type of thing, there isn't a huge difference really anymore in terms of like the visibility impact. But I guess first off, I personally know Triple Falls. I know Willis and Jacob. They do such an awesome job, and it's such a great thing for the community here. So definitely check them out.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So, I think the way you guys are putting out content and providing a production value that a lot of artists can't get themselves is awesome and really great in itself. And I think doing a .org is akin to like I know you're not necessarily like a 501c3 like a nonprofit, but you're providing all these services. So I'm guessing you're going to start doing some sort of Patreon at some point. Would that be?
That's on our list of possible options. Yeah. Okay,
cool. So .org to me kind of like makes sense for this sort of organization, and especially your like arts and culture and that type of thing. So yeah. I guess what's your what's a short-term goal for you? 6 months, a year out, like where would you like to be sitting, from any standpoint in your organization?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess from the standpoint of our videos, getting our numbers up a little bit higher on our platforms like YouTube and Facebook would allow us the ability to monetize at some point, which would be some value because most of our work right now is video work, and that would let us do in-video ads.
Absolutely.
And then the reach of having those bigger numbers on social would be helpful, just for the events that we host and the offers we make to the community.
For sure. So I guess one thing is, asking the artists that you guys currently work with and that come onto your show, and you're providing a platform for them so they can perform music, they do an interview, you know, it's a really great way to get their name out there. And so, you know, I would ask them that they shout out Triple Falls on their own socials and their own websites and within within their Bandcamp profiles, that type of thing, and just like getting that ask out there to them so that all their fans can come and see them, and then go to Triple Falls and get introduced to, you know, more local music and local arts. I think is, you know, a really good way to grow it organically and without a ton of costs. The other thing too is just like, you know, within YouTube, you know, making sure that your videos, you know, are mentioning Minnesota, Minnesota local music, you know, Mankato, Southern Minnesota, so that when people are searching around YouTube for, you know, new local music, they're searching Facebook, that you're tagged with all that stuff. And then getting those videos embedded on other people's websites and shared on their socials. I'd maybe start doing some giveaways too. So like, I don't know if you can potentially like, you know, get some artists to donate some swag to you, but like, you know, if you have someone out there and they want to give you a print to give away, or a band wants to give you a band t-shirt to give away, just getting some people to like your videos and, you know, getting their email address or something like that, and, you know, for a chance to win whatever, you know, small item it is. But I think most people will do it out of the goodness of their heart because they see that you're just, you know, promoting local arts. But you know, that's always some icing on the cake to have a little incentive there as well.
Yeah, that sounds good idea.
And then again, I hate to keep beating this drum, but like, you know, local influencers, even national influencers, if there are Minnesota music scene people, you know, getting hooked up with the Current, their local show, I would start retweeting and reposting the articles. I forgot the name of the DJ that does the local show. I think her name's Andrea Swenson, I think, on the Current. You know, getting you know, reposting her stuff, you know, starting to get a conversation with her going on, you know, whatever platform that she's on. And that's sort of like, you know, that's like it's a very sort of standard PR tactic. So like when we're warming up a journalist or an editor that works for, you know, New York Times or, you know, some big outlet, you know, we just start having a conversation with them about, you know, some article that they wrote. Not for us, not really publicly as much, because I think it's just like we're a retailer, so, you know, they don't probably be want to necessarily interact with us a bunch on their own socials. But for an organization like yours, like getting into some sort of discourse, or, and again, just showing that you're really interested in what they're doing, and you know, I could see, you know, making sure that, you know, if Triple Falls posts some stuff about hers on your own Facebook and your own Insta, you know, embedding the local show widget, you know, or whatever, just stuff like that. I would see her potentially posting some of your videos on their own Facebook, and then now you're just getting exposed to like the entire NPR audience, you know, which is really highly invested in local arts, music, and culture. Would be a good way to do it. Same with like the local, you know, music beat on the Strib. You guys are always getting press within the Mankato Free Press, or you've gotten that a few times now. So just reaching out and maybe going after more of a city's audience too for that. And then I guess doing the same thing in all the different towns in southern Minnesota too, I'd recommend.
Yeah, that's some really great insight. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I hate to say it, but it's coming up on our hour. It's flown by. Thanks so much, Mark. This was great. Do you have any final things you want to say before I cut you off?
No, I mean, I'll just reach out to me on, you know, email or LinkedIn, on Facebook. My email is mark@fun.com. You can find me on, you know, pretty much any social platform as well. So if you have any more questions, happy to help. It's really an honor to be here, and I just, you know, really love seeing all the different ideas and businesses that are popping up. It's a big passion of mine. I just am a big business nerd, so I love geeking out on this stuff. And yeah, whatever more questions, please reach out. Super exciting stuff that you guys are doing, so thank you.
Thanks so much, Mark. It was great. Wanted to put a plug in for 1 Million Cups. Everybody here might want to think about attending. It's every Wednesday morning, 8:30 to 9:30. It's two presentations by people who have businesses like yours. That anyone who has a business that's less than 5 years old can get up and do a presentation, and then everybody in the community helps them with suggestions and referrals. It doesn't cost anything for anybody. Basically, it's a support group for entrepreneurs. And it's pretty awesome. We have between 25 and 35 people that come each week, and you're all invited. And thanks for coming. Second Friday of each month, we'll have social media breakfast. They won't all be as fantastic as Mark's presentation today, but they're all pretty great. So hope to see you next month. In September, I think the SBDC is our sponsor for September and is arranging our speaker and presentation. In October, we're going to have Dylan Paul from Taylor Corporation talking about omni-channel marketing. So we got some neat topics coming up. Hope to see everybody next month. And thanks to Region 9 Development Commission for getting Mark on today. Thank you so much, Mark. And thanks a lot to Auto Media Group and the SBDC, as well as the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Bye, everybody.